So thank you for being here today. We're going to have a very quick mini webinar just going over some of the basics. So the basics of the Massachusetts state budget. Every year, Massachusetts has to balance its budget. This is unlike the federal government. States have to make sure that their revenue, so that's what we take in, taxes, fees, and other, match our expenses. So we take that revenue and we decide how we're going to spend it. Right now, the total Massachusetts state budget is about $40 billion. So each year, as part of our budget process, we decide what our priorities are for that $40 billion. So the governor, the Massachusetts House, the Massachusetts Senate, each play a role in deciding how we're going to spend that. And each of you can play a role in that process as well. So the budget has to be passed by June 30th every year. Our fiscal year runs from July 1st to June 30th. And in addition to deciding how to spend money, we can also write some policy changes into our state budget. So it's not only a fiscal vehicle, but also a policy vehicle. So the governor's role. The governor releases his or her budget in January, and no changes can be made to the governor's budget. So that's the governor's plan for how to spend that $40 billion. Then you have the legislature, which is the Massachusetts House and Massachusetts Senate. So the Ways and Means Committee, that's the special committees in both of those houses that decide bills relating to money. The House Ways and Means Committee releases its budget in April, and the Senate Ways and Means Committee releases its budget in May. Usually these budgets are similar to the governor's, but they contain changes or additional items that members think are important. Once the smaller committees release their budgets, the full House and Senate have a chance to submit amendments, which are changes to these budgets. And that's where you come in. So the members, so it's the members of the House and Senate, vote on all of the amendments. Members want to know what their constituents, so that's all of you, think is important to include in the budget or to keep out of the budget. So in April, remember that's when the House has released their budget, you can call or email or otherwise contact your state representative to advocate for amendments that support PACE. So if there is an amendment that increases funding for PACE or makes a policy change that is helpful for PACE, or otherwise make sure that PACE is going to continue to be healthy and serve all of the people that we do. And in May, you can do the same for your state senator. So getting to yes. In June, there's a conference committee, and that's made up of both House and Senate members, and they get together to negotiate the differences between these budgets. And on July 1st, we start operating with our brand new budget. So that's a basic overview. Please remember to sign up as an advocate because as an advocate we will communicate with you via email to let you know when there are amendments that come up that are helpful or harmful to PACE to help coordinate a little bit of our advocacy and communication. You can go to surveymonkey.com/r/MassPACE-AGVO to sign up to be an advocate. We will only ever email you, and we don't email very frequently. It's ended up so far being about once a month, a little more frequently when something important comes up. So that's your basic mini webinar, your 5-minute overview, and now we'll have a couple minutes for questions. The best way to ask questions is to type them into the chat box, which you should see on your screen. So you can type in questions into your chat box if you have any. We also have some folks who are on the phone. So folks on the phone, I'll give folks a minute to use the chat box because that's a little easier. But if you have questions, you can also ask them verbally on the phone. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, I'm not chatting. I was looking to see if I could print what we have.
Oh, to print the slide?
Any questions?
File,
So I've got one, which is how do we know what legislature to contact? Which is a great question. Your legislator is based on where you live. So a reminder to mute your phone, please. We can hear some of you talking in the background. So your legislator is based on where you live in your district. You can go to wheredoivotema.com and plug in your address, and that will give you your state representative and your state senator. That's the easiest way to look them up. So again, that's wheredoivotema, as in Massachusetts.com. Are there any more questions? We have a question that's, can I have a copy of this presentation? Absolutely, we will send this out to our advocates. Any more questions?
she'll send it out to the advocate.
All right, well, thank you. This has been your mini webinar, your mini lesson on the state budget process. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great day.
I tell you, it was a